I'll do this.
I'm sure you won't do that.
I will.
Okay, tell us when we're on, because we don't know.
Oh, you've been on the last couple minutes.
Oh, are you serious?
Yeah, I got you down in cookies like they're crazy. Austin, don't do it.
I'm assuming you're adjusting the settings and stuff.
Adjusting the settings.
Oh, okay.
For what?
Would you go?
Is it showing? Is it going now?
Yeah, it's been
okay.
going.
Well, anyway, okay, so this is the story of Stacy and Joe's weekend of becoming engaged. I planned on asking her to marry me probably 3 months before I actually asked her. Looked ahead and, found the perfect weekend, and, I knew it'd be cold, but I figured, whatever, Stacy's tough, she can handle it. So, the ring, of course, I picked out in Dubai for her. It's very lovely.
Let's see the ring. Hold on, let me...
Don't fall for
It is a beautiful ring. Very special.
It's totally the wrong size, but that's okay. You can get it sized later. So yeah, anyway, I came up to Colorado to see her, and we packed up, went camping, and of course it was a beautiful weekend. The moon was full, the stars were out. We had a nice romantic campfire dinner with Mom's lovely roast pork and mashed potatoes, all pre-made for us.
Cracked open a bottle of wine with a knife.
Yes.
Oh, didn't bring a...
Forgot a cork.
There you go.
Yes. So,
not everything can be perfect.
Now kiss him. Kiss.
Austin, stop.
And then we were just sitting there holding hands, and we were looking at the stars, and there was a full moon in the sky, and it was just very peaceful. And Joe apparently was looking for a shooting star, but I didn't know that. And so we were just like relaxing, and I actually almost fell asleep. I think I did actually.
Yeah.
And then I woke up, and then we were just sitting there, and then Joe was like, "Oh, this is a really special place to me." And I was like, "Yeah." And then he looks at me and he's like, "Well, that's why." And then as he's saying that, he started to get on his knees in front of me. And
yeah, I had the ring tucked in my pocket, but of course, I zipped it shut a little bit, so it took me 5 minutes to wiggle it out without alerting her. Just subtly kind of trying to get this thing out.
But I didn't
Smooth
notice.
move.
Smoothly, right.
I didn't notice at all.
Right. So anyway.
It's a pretty big sized box too, so.
Yeah, it's hard to maneuver.
Yeah.
So.
And then when he was getting on his knee, he was like, "And I just wanted to give you this because I want to spend the rest of my life with you." And I was like, "Oh my gosh!" And then he opened the box, and I freaked out, and I don't know what I said, just a bunch of oh my gosh.
A bunch of gibberish.
Yeah. And then I hugged him and kissed him, and then he was like, "Well, what are you gonna say, yes or no?" And I was like, "Well, you didn't ask me anything."
I forgot.
And so then I said,
he forgot the main point of him.
Right. Oh,
yeah.
Well,
there you go.
Yeah, and then he was like,
That's understandable.
Yeah. And then he was like, "Well, will you marry me?" And I was like, "Yeah."
Oh, cool.
Of course.
So that was that was pretty much our end. And of course, it's the Terriel Mountains, where I camped a million times, out in the boonies. Nobody's around at all. It's totally desolate. So.
Absolutely.
Perfect setting.
Because it's like the third week in April.
Right. Yeah.
There you go.
And so what was the actual date that you proposed to her so we can record this?
It was on the 18th of April.
18th of April.
2008.
Very nice.
Yes. And we slept under the stars that night with a nice bed of rocks from the fire under the soil.
So explain to us how you did that.
So I dug a 4-inch pit, and about big enough for us to lay down. Of course, I didn't explain any of this to Stacy. I just let her wonder for her.
Thinking you were digging her gravesite or something. All right.
So then, later on, we took the rocks from the fire. I poured a bunch of rocks in the fire earlier, and then we took all the rocks from the fire, threw it in this pit, and then covered it with dirt, and put the tarp over that, put our pads down, our sleeping bags, fold the tarp over on top of us, and it was a pretty good idea. It kept really warm. The only problem was it burnt a few holes through the tarp.
A little warm.
A little warm. So it was still warm in the morning. So foolproof plan for sleeping under the stars, kind of thing.
Pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Freezing your butt off.
No, we didn't freeze our butts. If anything, it was too warm. Besides
Nice.
And then how'd you spend the rest of your weekend, the next day?
We went camping or hiking, and we course, we got our faces a little sunburned.
I saw that.
See, but and then, yeah, and then we stopped at a country lodge and had Mexican food and jacuzzi and stuff like that.
Yep.
And that was our engagement weekend.
Sweet! Well, Joe and Stacy are now engaged to be married. Have you set a date?
No.
No, sometime
Next summer.
When she's
After
out of
graduation.
School. Yeah, when she's out of school.
Yeah.
Well, that's very smart.
Yeah.
Very considerate.
I like that look that you gave her.
Hey. Yeah, I love that hairdo you got going there, Joe.
Yeah. I just wake up and it does that.
I bet.